Hi, this is Skip from Kolena, and in this video I'm going to show you an agent that will create investment memos for any kind of real estate investment. In this case, we're going to look at a commercial real estate investment opportunity. This is the homepage for the Kolena agents. I just clicked Create New Agent, and it's popped up this interface where we describe exactly what we're looking for. We also have some templates here for some common use cases, but in this case, we can just type in exactly what we're looking for. Here we go. Right away, that takes us into the agent page. We can see here that Kolena has actually understood that objective. It's actually rewritten and enriched this objective for the agent. It's given it a name here intelligently based on that. We didn't provide any of this. It kind of used its additional understanding to enrich this. And now it's setting us up with the onboarding flow. The first thing we need to do is just upload some documents that will help us to build our investment memo. So all of the documents that we are considering for this investment. The platform supports quite a few different file types. Of course, all the usual document types, but also presentations, spreadsheets, images, even audio files. For this demonstration, I'm going to go ahead and drag in some files that I have on my computer for this office property. Quite a few different types of documents. I'll show them here, but this is just dragging and dropping them in. I'm selecting them here. I'm going to go ahead and click Submit. And these files are basically going to allow us to form the template for this agent. Basically, we're going to give it the initial instructions using this as an example. And then forever after, anytime we upload some new documents, it'll process the same instructions. This is kind of like the one-time initial example for the agent, so it'll learn. It's processing that now, and then we'll take us to the add extraction step in just a second. There we go. It only took a few seconds. You can see here all of the documents that I just uploaded in a bit more detail. What we're looking at here is an offering memorandum for this partially fictionalized Bayview Office Center in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This is the kind of packet that you might get from the brokers trying to sell this property. It includes property summary, financial information, demographic information. You can see it's a multi-page document. It has quite a bit of information in here. So this is from the brokers who are selling it, but in addition to that, we've also enriched it with some information that we, as a potential investor, have sourced. So we got an engineering risk evaluation, which has all kinds of information about the building. We have some lease abstracts for the tenants that live, or that are renting space in the office, I should say. So many different lease abstracts here for many different tenants that are in this property that we're considering investing in. We have a spreadsheet here, which has a T-12 P&L information. A lot of other information, some property tour documents where somebody visited the property and made an assessment using their qualitative assessment. And all of this information, all these documents are now going to be available for us as we create our first extraction, meaning in this case, what is the information that we want to build into our investment memo. So to start, I'll just show a very simple basic extraction. Let's say we want to know, what is the property name and address. And I'm going to go ahead and click Create. That's all we have to do is give these instructions in natural language. We don't have to do anything particularly special. What it will do, the agent understands, it can see all of this context information. We can see that the name of it is the Bayview Office Center, and we have the address there. What Kolena does is it actually takes in the understanding of the document type and it's rewritten the prompt intelligently. So it took the initial prompt that I gave it, did some prompt engineering behind the scenes, and rewrote it this way so that it is interfacing with the model in the best possible way so that we get the most accurate information. And we can see we've already got a result here. It pulled out the correct name and location, and we can even see the reasoning for where it got it. It can be found on the first page of the offering memorandum, which is what we're looking at here. And it gave us a citation here. So we can click on this, which will take us to that document which we were just looking at. We're not limited to these simple extractions, so what we can do now is just say, okay, I want to know what are the key facts for this property investment opportunity, and go ahead and click Create. If we were to click Configure, it would give us the chance to see this page basically so that we could give it more information. Create just means that we kind of trust it to rewrite, which is usually going to work very well for us. And what this will do is, let's see how it rewrote it. It intelligently decided to extract a table now. It's going to extract a table with key investment facts, including property, location type, building features, tenant mix, all these other things, because it understands that the context that we provided it, the overall objective, is to create an investment memo. So it's going to give us information. It's going to intelligently summarize information based on that. And here we go. We've already got the results. We have, of course, the property name and location, but also things like the building size, the lot size, how many, the current occupancy rate, 85% of the occupancy is filled. Building features, what kind of tenants are in here, what are the major tenants, what are lease terms, etc. And we can customize this however we'd like. So if we wanted to edit the extraction to make it look for specific things that we want to have in the key investment facts, we can just add that in right here. Another common thing that we might be looking for in an investment memo for this type of property is, what is the rent roll? So what are the rent rates for the tenants? And in this case, we have all these lease abstracts, which we have for each of the tenants here, which include information, of course, about their monthly rent rates, as well as any other stipulations regarding those rent rates. And we can have an arbitrary number of documents here. I've got about a dozen or so of these lease abstracts here. And what we've done here is, what Kolena has decided to do is format this as a table, understanding that there's going to be many of these tenants. It's decided that there's going to be, the first column is going to be the tenant name, and it's going to show us where they are and their base rent. And that way we will have, here we go, a table right away of all of the tenants and how much they're paying, just because we have all that information available in these other documents. Now, another great use here for these agents, one of the things that these agents can do is we also got some estoppel certifications from some of these tenants. So for Koala AI, we not only have their lease abstract, but we have an estoppel certificate. And what I want to know is, are there discrepancies between lease abstracts and estoppels? And this is obviously going to be important because we need to know what things actually are, not just based on the abstract documentation that we have. So if we got a new piece of information, a new estoppel document from one of our tenants, we want to make sure that we're understanding where there are any discrepancies. And this is just an example of the kind of discrepancy that we could be looking for, but it could really be any kind of information matching that you want to be doing across any arbitrarily sized data set. We can see that, yes, it did find some. In this case, it decided to just give a true or false answer. It found that for Koala AI, which we were just looking at, there's actually a rent difference. The lease abstract is showing this amount, and the estoppel is showing this amount. I wanted to give us a little bit more information here, not just show this in the reasoning. So I'm going to say format this as a table. And go ahead and click continue. It'll rewrite its prompt so that it changes from just giving a true-false type answer to giving a table-based answer, which will probably show us, let's see here. Now it's going to show us each discrepancy as a row, effectively. Go ahead and click update. And as we're building these out, basically we're giving these instructions for any time we're starting to process a new document. It's all being collected over here in this report view. You could think of this as the PDF or the doc file that you download when you're ready to do something with it. It can also be output as a CSV and sent into your property tools, any kind of property management tool, for example, or investment tool. And you can see here that we have all of these fields that we've been extracting. It includes the reasoning here. We could choose to hide that if we just wanted to see exactly what our investment memo looks like. And you can see we've got all this information for our investment memo just in the course of a few minutes. Here we see that the abstract versus estoppel table is ready to go here. So we have a nice little summary of all of our discrepancies. And let's say we want to have an executive summary. Create an executive summary for this investment. You know, a pros executive summary that we'll have at the top of the report. I'm just going to drag it to the top so that it shows up at the top of our report. And this way we'll have the format that we'd like for whatever we like our investment memos to look like. There we go, all done. You can see here that it's now given us this output, which is a neat little summary of all of the information in all the documents that we gathered here for this analysis. We can see over here in the report that we now have a nice looking document, which includes an executive summary at the top. Our memo has all the key information that we want, and we can customize this as much as we want. We can make it as long as we want. We can include all kinds of information, whatever we like. Now, when we want to automate this process, we can add connections. So I'm just going to click continue here. A connection is basically a source. So we're connecting where our data lives, wherever we have it, say on a cloud storage service or in a property service, wherever your data room is effectively, or your deal room. And then we can send the outputs, so those reports, the investment memos that we're creating, to another destination. So for example here, I'm just going to show a connection to a Google Drive folder that I've got set up. Just, you can think of it as any kind of folder that's available. In this case, I've got a data room that I'm configuring as a source. So I'm saying, okay, look for files in this data room, process them according to the agent instructions that we just established. And then for the outputs, for the memos that we're creating, I want you to put them in this generated IC memo folder. This way, we have some automation set up. So now whenever we send in files, it could be via email, it could be that it's just checking that folder, those things will be automatically created and they'll show up as a row over here in our investment memos. This row that we had is the one I was just looking at with you. So this first set of documents where we provided all the instructions, now that shows up as a run here. And whenever we add new things to that folder, it'll show up as a new run here. So just to illustrate that very quickly, I've got my Google Drive folder open right here. I'm just going to go ahead and upload another set of documents that I have for another property right here. Drag those in or upload those here. Those are all being uploaded to this data room folder, which I connected to over here. There we go. It includes, some market comparison document, lease abstracts, some other property information, rent roll. And now what's happening over here is that these connectors, since I have it looking for the data room connector, it will show up as a new run. So there we go. In just a few minutes, we set up an entire agent all the way end to end. I showed you everything that I did. And now we're automatically generating these commercial real estate investment memos. Anytime we drop in those documents, we have a nicely formatted report however we like, which will save a ton of time when you're dealing with all of these documents. Thanks for watching.